Another exclusive live session with the Hype Magazine.
You need to stop what you're doing. Pay attention.
World famous Hype Magazine. Going down right now.
Hey, what's good, everybody? Welcome to another live session with the Hype Magazine. I'm your editor-in-chief, Jerry Doby, and today, we're going to have some fun. I've got the one and only, the soul sax man of all soul sax men, Mr. Boney James. We're here to talk about his upcoming albums, Slow Burn. He just dropped this amazing single, All I Want Is You, featuring October London. We're going to ask you how you got to him, but I'm listening, I'm going, man, when he says baby or stop, what was it? He had elongated notes on baby and stop that gave me all Marvin Gaye all day long. Am I wrong?
No, that's his thing. I mean, his first record, I believe, was called The Rebirth of Marvin, and I think they had to get permission from the Marvin estate to say that.
Wow.
And they were able to pull that off. So yeah, no, definitely he sounds like he's got a very serious Marvin influence. And that was when I first heard him, that was what drew me to him in the first place.
Okay. Amazing joint, man. I'm
Thank you,
excited to hear Slow Burn. And I'm in Kansas City, so I guess what? Guess where I'll see you?
Yeah, Uptown
in
Theater.
November. Uptown Theater. Yes, indeed. Oh, I'm sorry. I stole your thunder. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. Look, man, I know we're just supposed to talk about the music, but I'm 61 years old. I've been listening to jazz from different artists. My mother, this is your 19th album. And my mom had Boney James music when you were a kid. You know what I mean? And here I am, 61. I actually get to close the circle and talk to you. Mom, he's here. Anyway, so thank you so much. But I just wanted can we start with an introspective and from the inside looking out? Will you tell us how you see Boney James, the artist, the creator? Is that too much?
Oh my gosh. No, I don't really think about that kind of stuff too much. I'm just I try and keep my head down and focus just on trying to play the saxophone as good as I can. And when I'm writing music, I want to really feel it myself. And I don't think about much else. I'm very much focused on the doing of it. And I figure when it gets to the point where I'm really experiencing something, when I'm listening to it, that there's going to be some audience there that wants to hear it. And the big picture stuff, I never think about it. Never think about it.
Man, I was talking to one of the elders. He says, you're getting too deep for me. And I'm going, but I want to know these things because you guys are so brilliant. You have to be thinking, okay, fine, whatever. Benchmark moment that music said you're mine. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I always loved music. It was my favorite hobby. As soon as I picked up the saxophone when I was 10 years old, it was always one of my favorite things to do. But I didn't think you could make a living doing this. And I went away to college to study history. I thought I was maybe going to go to law school. But the summer between my freshman year and sophomore year of college, I came back to town and hooked up with some of the cats I used to jam with in high school. And they had gotten some gigs playing in a real club, And I got up on stage with them, and it just hit me like this is what I want to do. It just gave me a feeling that I still get every time I go on stage, and it's a very powerful feeling. And it's my whole life is dedicated to being able to do that as much as I possibly can.
Wow, amazing. And it's hard to say this, but usually about jazz or what people might think about jazz. But you could party to Boney James. Jazz, like when he's playing, it's that belly rubbing music that, you know what I mean? I don't know how many children are attributed to Boney James.
I have heard that. I have heard that.
Just amazing. Sonically addicting is what I call.
Someone wrote me a fan letter one time back in the day when you used to get real letters, but she said that she and her husband were having tremendous sex behind my music, and she was sorry that I was missing it. And I was like, whoa!
Oh, TMI, lady, TMI. Not going to jump down. I'm not following you down that yellow brick road, ma'am. You can forget that. But, amazing. What excites you the most about this new song, how it's being received, and the album, Slow Burn?
I'm super proud of the whole record. I mean, and particularly the song with October London, which is the first single that came out, and it's climbing steadily up the R&B charts, which, for me being a sax player, is a real tremendous benefit. I mean, it's just really wonderful to reach a bigger audience, and so I'm super grateful. But I mean, I'm just in love with the music. I definitely felt like the record was special when I finished it. I'm in there working really hard trying to make it sound as good as I can. But there was a certain point when we were putting the finishing touches on the record, and I was able to sit back and experience it more as a listener. And I thought, this is just a really special record.
It's really good. Since you brought it up, I'm going to ask this question. You've made so many songs. You've heard so many sounds. Are you still able to experience it as a consumer and just jam out without the analysis and just have fun?
Not other people's music. Really, I can't. Whenever I'm listening to music, is any contemporary music, I'm always studying it, and
Mhm.
and there's just a certain professionalism on my part that I find it very hard to experience music like I used to when I was a kid, and like most people do, like my family does, like listeners do. But that's what I'm looking for when I'm making my music, is when I can get my music to the point where it can make me feel something like
Mhm.
music, like normal people, then I feel like, all right, this is done. This
Mm,
I can bring this out to people. So
okay.
it's an interesting point.
I love it. I have just always wanted to know people who make a million billion D songs, like, can you just get down with music, or is it an analysis thing that just
Yeah.
invades your mind?
Something like that. I know a lot of, like, I have some friends that are chefs, and find it hard to go to a restaurant without
Mm,
enjoy it just as a regular customer.
I promise you, I've been a journalist for almost 15 years, and it's hard for me to read other people's stuff. Modern day writers, it's difficult. Baldwin, Giovanni, I can read that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Some of this new stuff. No, anyway. I'm sorry, I'll stay on point. I know you're a busy man, and I really appreciate your time. Um, Talk to me about the concept, please, of slow burn and how it documents your journey. Any benchmarks, changes sonically, use of timbre, musical timbre that you've experimented with on this project?
Well, I'm always tweaking my sound, quite frankly. I'm always looking for more to try and be more of a deep sounding horn, and with the songwriting to really connect with a feeling. And I want every song to take you on its own personal journey. And then to me, to put the record together where it's all telling a story is a big part of it. But never start out with a concept. I'm really just trying to write
Mm,
songs, and find music that's resonating with me in that period in my life. And then the songs that come out are kind of this album. I call it an album still because it's a snapshot of what's happening in my life, I guess, inside.
okay.
And then the music is an outward expression of that. The term slow burn popped into my head when I was listening to the song that I called Slow Burn. It's just this one of those grooves.
Mhm,
It was sexy.
mhm.
It felt like it was building, but it wasn't too fast. And slow burn popped into my head. And then I looked it up in the dictionary, and in the dictionary it says a slow burn is a feeling that grows with a slow but deliberate intensity. And I
Well,
thought, that sounds good. That's a good concept to sort of talk about the whole feeling of the record,
right.
and maybe my whole career in a way, because this is my 19th record, and I feel like I'm just hitting my stride. So
You
that's
know,
kind of the story.
it's amazing. I was served all I want is you. I said, okay. And I spent like a couple of hours with Boney James music on Apple. I just let it run. I was like, I'm gonna work to this today. And just I felt great and uplifted, not the drudgery of being a freaking magazine editor. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, it was
Yeah.
beautiful. So thank you
Well, thank
for,
you.
for elevating my day, man. I really appreciate it. You called Slow Burn another step in your career,
Mm.
in your creative journey. So, uh, how do you feel, music has evolved over the years?
Boy, that's another big question.
Uh,
I don't ponder that too deeply either, just because it's everything's so different now. I mean, I've been in this business for a long time, and I've
right. Yeah.
seen it change.
Mm,
But the fact is, people still love music. I still love making music. I still love playing shows and making records, and people just found a new way to consume it, which is cool. I mean, I find that this whole streaming era, to have all the music ever was at your fingertips, has kind of turned out to be a cool thing, and people are using it.
mm, mm.
People are going back and finding my old records that it's very interesting to look at the streaming numbers, which the label sends me from time to time, and to say,
Mm.
"Oh, well, this record from 20 years ago is getting a lot of streams, and this new one is getting a lot of streams." And it's like, well, I guess people are just digging listening to the music, and I know I appreciate being able to go online and listen to something if I'm interested.
Yeah.
Um, the same said, this record has a couple of covers on it from back in the day. I did a Herbie Hancock song on this record called Butterfly.
I
I got
remember.
Marcus Miller playing bass and Corey Henry on keyboards on it, and I sort of doing an homage to Stanley Turrentine, who was one of my favorite sax players when I was coming up. So I did a version of Sugar, one of
Sugar.
his famous songs. So I'm trying to connect all the future and the past together.
You're just having fun on this one.
Just having fun.
Kid having fun. They let me
That's
loose
what
in
it
the candy
is.
store, right?
What it
Okay.
is.
I okay. These were the serious questions. Guess what? Bye. Um, I was like, I don't care anymore. I just want to enjoy in listening to you talk about
Oh,
music,
thank you.
your how you feel. Do you get I guess I get a physical something when I know I've put a piece of prose together and it's working. Is it the same way for you? Do you get that moment during the process? You go, yeah,
Oh
and
yeah. Yeah,
okay.
absolutely. Yeah, it's very gratifying.
Mhm,
It's all a big puzzle, and especially when you start and you sit and you don't know what you're doing, there's an empty space. But
mhm.
I get little ideas and then I pick at them and pick at them and add something and take something away, and you know how it is. And
Yeah.
and you get to a certain point where it's like you've actually created something, and that's really gratifying. That's what I love about making records. It's like putting a puzzle together. But on the flip
Mm.
side, I get to go out now and play live shows, and that's just in the moment.
Oh
You
my
do it
God.
once and it's gone, and it's a rush. So they're two different kinds of feelings, but they're both around the same thing.
I'm looking, tour started July 21st and is running through January 25th. If this man has a chance to sleep, blink, or breathe in peace, I doubt it because obviously you're rehearsing in between all this stuff. Talk to me. I've never been on the road as an artist, so it's a layperson's question, but talk to me about some of the creative sparks, like wildest creative sparks that you found on the road while touring for a record that ignited a new one.
Well, I mean, it's hard to pick because I mean every night is different. That's the thing about being on the road. Every crowd is different, even though we're playing the same music, and there's the band communication is different, and all these little things happen. And that's the great thing about it. But the other great thing about it is that when it happens, it's live. It's not
Memory.
commemorated in any way. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's gone in the moment.
Mm,
So I don't know in terms of lessons or things like that. Every day is an opportunity to try and connect better with the audience and the band and the music,
mm.
and the thrill of that in real time, the challenge of it never gets old, that's for sure.
So you're present every moment of the performance
Yeah.
and that you're with the audience and they're partying with you and they're going, yeah, my man.
Yeah. Well, people who have seen me live, I think they would be able to see that there's nothing I'd rather be doing, because it does the rest of the world just goes away, and hopefully I can get the crowd to come along with me, and we're all in this moment of live music, and it's a special feeling.
You're a brother with soul and it shows, it comes out. You know, I 4-time Grammy nominated, but he won a Soul Train Award. Okay.
That
Okay. And he's
was
got
a good night. That was a good
that,
night.
that's a real good night. It I'm just saying that to and mentioning that to say, I grew up in a household where it was difficult. You, if I turn this thing off, you'll see all the records that I inherited from my mother, the vinyl. And I've got Boney James album sitting in the crate, and I've got a turntable upstairs that I need to bring downstairs and into this space so that I could function. But I just love it. And you resonate in an area, R&B, not just the jazz, but the R&B, the love making music, the soul music, the stuff that makes people reach out and go and connect with other human beings, kind of like a bridge, a musical bridge, uh,
Mm. Yeah.
as I see it. You know what I mean? You start the conversation, bro. Did you hear that riff, bro? And besides, I was the jealous ass who was stuck on clarinet in sixth grade and wanted to be the sax guy because they were the cool guys, right?
It's never too late. Never too late, man.
Oh, brother, I'm done. Fender tried to help me out. It didn't work. It didn't work. What do you most love about music?
Music is it's magic in my mind. I'll say that. I think music is magic.
Hmm.
Um, it can just transport us, and I think it connects us
Hmm.
in a way like not many other things can.
I wish people would just stop shooting, listen to some freaking music, and
Mm,
chill out. You
yes.
know, let's just
Here, here.
I don't mean to get political, but I want an advance of the album. I know it's coming out, and I'm going to sit here and it'll be like, that 1 o'clock in the morning kind of vibe when everybody's asleep. I'm going to throw on the best audiophile headphones that I have. That's what I most love about your music are
Thank you.
nuances, the changes in timbre. It's an adventure, you
I
know,
hope so. That's
that
my plan.
it leaves you, safely deposited at the end, which unlike some other records doesn't. But this, my my therapist, y'all, mental health is real. My therapist says, are you into? And I go, man, anytime jazz, I could listen to Boney, I could listen to Winton, I could listen to, you know, my favorite jazz album before I am going to hear Slow Burn, which will be my new favorite jazz album, was Our Man in Paris. Okay.
Mm.
That's how deep I use it to relax and go to sleep and all that good stuff. All right. They were going to send me talking points. I know that you're doing this. Everybody, you've been interviewed by everybody, their cat, uncle, and dog. Is there a question that we as journalists have failed to tap into with Boney James,
Mm.
real Boney James, that maybe you have wanted to share and we've just been too selfish and self-centered to ask?
No, no, man. I like all the questions that you've asked, and you've made me think a little bit too. So it's not my job, I never think about things like that. That's
Yeah, I just
that's
try to
another.
turn them from interviews to conversations because it's
Yeah, I hear you, man.
it's
Um,
more fun.
no, I'm just glad to have an opportunity to talk to anybody about my music. That's really the thing. That when as long as we're here and talking, it's a good thing. It's a beautiful thing.
I agree with you. Excuse me. 1990. Can we go back? Am I
Yeah,
allowed
sure.
to do that?
Sure.
1995, Seduction.
Mm.
I know where my mind was at. How did you not get distracted when you were making that project?
Yeah, I think there might have been a moment where actually I was playing something for my spouse and we might have got a little distracted.
Okay.
I won't say it's never happened.
Right, right. You're like somebody just look at you like, you got a
Yeah,
problem.
there's some good records. I think Lights Down Low on that album is probably one of my favorite songs that I've written.
Okay.
But
Okay.
when I think about it, I think about the day I went over to my friend Daryl's house and he played me these chords and that melody popped into my head and then I grabbed my horn and set up the mic and we played and that's what ended up on the record. I
Wow.
think about all the technical doing of it. But
Hmm.
then the music, as you say, it's a feeling that lives forever and other people get to experience. So that's the mysterious thing about it.
I have to do this for the youngsters, right? As you were coming up and finding yourself more and more successful and more accepted and in demand, I think everybody that elevates and climbs that Jacob's ladder, right, hits a point where they have this imposter syndrome. How did you work through it? Like, did you do the butt naked in front of the mirror thing psychologically, not literally, but and each achievement, like put on an article of mental clothing, sock, drawers, pants, shirt, until you got to the crown and said, you know what? I'm doing the right thing.
Oh boy, I think that's a process for everybody. I mean, I'm a human being, definitely when I first started, I had this sense of like, do I deserve it or whatever. But over time, I've gotten more mature and I've gotten more secure and confident um, the longevity of my career has been really helpful and just coming to realize that there's people that obviously dig what I'm doing, so it must be worth something to them and to just own that for myself.
Yeah.
That's been a process, but I'm feeling pretty strong right now. I feel like I'm centered and inside and know that I'm doing something worthwhile. And I know for sure when I go out and I see all those smiling faces that I'm doing something that's having a benefit for other people. And that's really what I think it's all about.
Okay. So it's a gift you're giving from what you can, and
Yeah.
your talent is the musical. All right. Is there anything you want to cover that I may have neglected? Because I
I
was
don't think
over
so,
here
man.
having a
No,
freaking fanboy moment and whatever. I'm supposed to remain neutral, but fuck it,
it's
it's my
all good, man.
show.
I'm glad to talk to you, man. It's all fun.
It's my show. I'm going to have fun with
There you go.
it. Nearly a dozen number one on Billboard. You obviously, as I'm understanding what you're saying to me, you're not paying attention necessarily to the accolades and things. You're just enjoying the process of making the music. The extra, the icing on the cake, so to speak, is that others love what you have made for yourself.
Right.
I think that has been one of the key components that I've learned from uh artists and creators with longevity. So I created for myself. I'm tapping in with me. And if other people resonate with it, that's amazing. Um, do you have by chance a highlight moment of a fan or supporter? I don't know how you address them, that they faced up with you and said, you know what, this song really brought me through this, or this album helped
Oh
me.
man, I hear that so often. Honestly, I can't even pick, but very, very often, especially now in this day and age with social media, and people can just write you directly at the drop of a hat. But I mean, I hear from people all the time about they're going through incredible stuff and how my music has helped them, and the feeling that gives me of gratitude that they shared that with me, and that I was able to be helpful in some way just by playing my saxophone or writing these songs and making these records. It's a powerful thing. So
Mhm.
super grateful to hear that every time. But yeah, it's not an uncommon occurrence to and let you know you're doing the right thing.
All right. The new single, All I Want Is You, featuring October London, is amazing. That's the first single that hit in July. It's out on all the DSPs now, but fair warning, if you are new to Boney James, if that hooks you, you're not going to be prepared for what he's going to do to you um, sonically. You're just not ready for the journey. So I just want you to just put your slippers on, get your favorite libation with your craft ice, do your thug thistle, sit down, and get ready for a huge freaking eyes closed, head rocking. That's what I've experienced to his music. And so
Appreciate it.
I'm just predicting I'm not, a prophet. He's already proved it, that this is the way it's going to affect you. Man, I thank you. I would love to talk to you for hours and hours and hours, but I respect your time. Maybe we can reconvene after the album drops and you've caught your breath in somewhere in a break in this tour. This is like,
Or maybe I'll see you in Kansas City, man.
I'm gonna go buy tickets immediately. I am gonna go buy tickets immediately, and I need brownie points here. I've been married for 20 years. I got to do something different. I did good with another concert, a Boney James concert. I'm, anyway. Thank you so much.
My pleasure, man. Thanks for having me.
What you do for the fabric of music. Thank you for being here. And I look forward to speaking with you again and shouting at you, yo, it's Jerry at the Uptown Theater here in Kansas City, November. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Peace.
As an artist, we should reflect the time.
Why you so talented?
Cause I'm black.
Why you so amazing?
Cause I'm black.
It's really important that we build characters so that people understand their story matters.
2 Chainz and I both are just really into good food.
And when you know you are royalty, you will only aim in life to be royalty.
We're doing it right now. I don't give a damn what they say about me. Yes, I called your ass out. I know I shouldn't be saying this kind of.
Shout out the Hype Magazine Network.
Shout out to the Hype Magazine Network.